Welcome back to Mona's Takes. I am your host, Mona Rose, and we're here to discuss everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers to the channel. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for your support. So as you know from the last video, Todd Bridgers is our new HOH, and he had to pass out some penalties. And it seems that he has given Lamar and Todd the costumes to wear. One is a lime and the other is a mojito. I think is how you say it. It's a drink. So Lamar is in this tall drink costume that's green and limey looking. And Todrick is the lime. Not only did they have to have punishments and have the costumes, but they have to be tethered together for the next 24 hours. This should be hilarious. Lamar is not happy about the costumes at all. Carson tells him how cute he looks in the outfit, and he flips him off. Todrick asks Lamar what he wants to do, and Lamar said to get as far away from you as I possibly can. Todd, Lamar, and Todrick are in the living room, and Todrick and Todd are talking about what they've been in, what they've done, that he's been on 5 Broadway shows. And Lamar says, who gives a shit, man? Todrick is like, are you talking to me? And Lamar says, I'm talking to myself. He's not happy at all about having to wear that costume. Todd went up to pat Lamar on the back, and he's like, man, don't even touch me. Just get away from me. Todd's like, man, what are you so upset about? He's like, who would you have given it to? He said, I'd given it to Carson and Todrick. They like dressing up. Todd's like, man, just have fun with it. It was fun to watch. After the week that we've had on Big Brother, watching what has been a train wreck, it was actually fun to laugh and watch them two for a while last night. Todd tells Lamar and Todrick that they know who's going up, that there's no question about it. Then he proceeds to say that he doesn't know if he should put those two up on the block, because if somebody wins the veto, then they have to make another choice, that he thinks he should put a pawn up on the block. Well, of course, Todrick right away starts saying, no, we don't need a pawn on the block. I can't go up on the block. And Todd said, man, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about Lamar. And they're sitting there having this conversation. And I'm like, Lamar is right there. Do they not get that? And then Lamar was like, well, I'll be a pawn. If you need a pawn, I'll go up as a pawn. I love the concept of Big Brother. I love the concept of celebrity Big Brother. But there have got to be celebrities out there that watch Big Brother and are super fans. That would make a great season. I don't understand why they keep giving us people that don't know how to play this game. Another conversation is being had at the kitchen table, and it's Lamar, Todd, and Todrick. And Todrick is explaining to Todd and Lamar about the cookout, saying how they all got together at the beginning and said they wouldn't vote against each other, and that they voted out all of the white people, and then it was just the 6 black people left, and that they made history. And that he thinks if they can get Cynthia on their side, then they can do the same thing. So at some point, I guess he's planning on turning against Misha. I don't see it. I don't know if they were just having a conversation, he was just explaining to them how it would be or what, but it confused the hell out of me. Todrick and Lamar start getting on each other's nerves. Lamar won't put his mic on, and Todrick is telling him to put his mic on. And Lamar's asking questions, and Todrick said, man, you've been here for 21 days, figure it out. Okay, a little bit of tension brewing there. And then he tells Lamar, you're just being difficult, man. He's like, I don't know why you just don't put your mic on. I want them to hear what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, you do want them to hear what you're saying. Yep, because that's all you've done is talk since you walked in the house. He literally, I think if we had to gauge it, the conversations that happen in the Big Brother house, 75% of them are going to be Todrick, and 25% are going to be the other 9 house guests, because he's always talking, unless he's sleeping. Todrick also tells Lamar and Todd how him and Misha made a deal with Carson and Cynthia to be able to save Misha from going home this past eviction, and that if either one of them would have won the veto, then they would have had to put up Lamar and Todd. And still no red flags? No, none. If somebody just told me that they made a deal with the other side of the house and that they would have had to put me up when I made my nominations, you would have been one of the ones going on the block. And I would have said, well, they didn't worry about us when they made that deal. They didn't worry about the team when they made that deal. They knew they were going to have to vote out one of their allies, and they were okay with it. Therefore, I must be on the bottom. But no, That would take some knowledge of the game to get the concept, I believe. I don't know. And then Todd and Todrick are seen talking, and Todrick tells Todd that it's a win-win situation for them, that if Carson does happen to win the video and take himself off the block, then they can just send Lamar home, and that he would be okay with that because Lamar wants to go home anyway. Lamar did at the beginning say that he wanted to go home a lot, but I think that he's got time invested in the game now, and I think he's really wanting to win some money, number one. I don't know what his finances are, but he does talk a lot about wanting to win the money, and they're just willing to throw him under the bus because he's not talking about wanting to go home now. He's talking about playing the game now. As a matter of fact, he's the only damn one in that house that has seen and noticed everything that's going on, and that says a lot. Todd wants to be upfront and honest like everybody else has been, so he goes to Carson and he tells Carson, look, dude, sorry, but I'm going to have to put you up. I'm going to put you and Lamar up. I'm not going to put Cynthia beside you. Give you all a fighting chance, whatever. And Carson and Cynthia are fine with it. And then Carson tells Cynthia that he would rather go home before her because he doesn't want to be in the house with those people without her. And I told you the tensions were getting kind of high between Todrick and Lamar being tethered together. They go into the storage room, and Todrick had requested a new deck of cards because the cards that they had in there were the ones Shayna were playing with, and it had bad juju, and they had to get rid of those cards. So he requested a new deck of cards, and they get them this morning, and they're in the storage room. Lamar says, let me see them, and Lamar takes them and rips half of them in half. Todrick was pissed. Like, I have not seen him that mad in that house and literally be mad. It was like he was having a titty baby fit. They leave out of their storage room, and Lamar said, what do you want to do now? And Todrick said, honestly, I'm over all of this. I don't give a F. He's pissed off about the cards. So Lamar says, well, I want to lay down. And Todrick says, that's fine. Let's go lay down. And then Todrick tells Lamar, I can't believe you just did that. And Lamar said, well, I can't believe you do half the shit around here you do. And Todrick said, like what? Explain. And Lamar said, I don't have to explain myself, but I see. Then Todrick says, that was an asshole move to make. I ordered those cards yesterday. And Lamar says, oh, I'm so sorry that you paid so much for your cards. Big Brother gave him the cards. It wasn't that big a deal to Lamar. And Todd said, well, I would never rip up something that you asked for and that you ordered. Lamar leaves the room. He takes the tether with him that he's supposed to be tethered to Todrick with. Walks in the living room, does something in the kitchen, turns around, comes back. And then he throws the rope thing over to Todrick. And he's like, put on your wristband, dude. And Todrick wouldn't answer him. And he's like, Todrick. And he sits there, put on your wristband, dude. Dude, put on your wristband. You have to put your wristband on. And finally, Todrick's like, I don't have to put it on. And Lamar said, man, whatever. So Todrick wouldn't even talk to him. He was so pissed. And he sat there and acted like he was sleeping with his eyes wide open, with his back turned to Lamar, fuming the whole time. And at that point, Lamar says, I should have ripped up the whole MFN package. Then Lamar and Todrick are seen talking, and Lamar says, yeah, Misha's a beast. And Todrick says, I'm going to read this because I'm going to mess it up. I know I am. Todrick says, yeah, but in 2022, do you want to help some white blonde girl get to the end? Lamar says, color shouldn't matter, dude. And Todrick said, it's not about that, though. And Lamar said, so why'd you bring it up? Todrick, he says, I'm just saying. And Lamar asked Todrick what the difference is between Misha and Shayna because they're both white. And Todrick said, one is a hard worker and not manipulative. And Lamar says, I don't know either of them. I just met them. I don't know how Misha lives her life. So Lamar has got some sense. And he's trying to point out how stupid Todrick's being. I thought that was very sad that he felt comfortable enough saying that he's not going to help some blonde white chick get to the end. It's just wrong. It's another one of the things that he's going to go low. He doesn't know how to go high. He only knows how to go low. And Lamar says that he didn't realize that this game was going to be so emotionally draining that they were going to get close to people and then have to turn around and stab them in the back. Todrick says, that was hard for you yesterday, wasn't it? And Lamar said, yeah, it was. He's like, man, I didn't have a beef with her. Y'all did. So it was really hard for him to vote out Shayna. yesterday, and we all saw that in the diary room. That wasn't just Lamar being spaced out. He was actually conflicted. And then Todd and Misha are seen in the kitchen talking, and Todd's talking about the fact that Sheena came and hugged his neck, and Lamar's, but nobody else's, and how she told him that she'd see him on the outside. And he was like, you're not going to see me on the outside. I can't hang around with someone who dresses like that, half naked all the time. Like, dude, who are you freaking kidding? 90% of the role models on TV now, and music, and movies, they all dress half naked. Like, get off of your moral high ground and quit talking about people. Todrick finally gets out of bed, and he's trying to get into the DR, and I think it was Carson that came by. And he says, yeah, man, he ripped up my cards. And he's trying to steadily get into the DR, and they're not letting him into the DR. And he stalks back, and he looks at the camera, and he's like, you know, he didn't want in the DR. And he walks away for a little bit, and they didn't let him in. He walks away for a little bit, and then he goes back over there, and he just keeps pushing the button, pushing the button, pushing the button, until finally they let him in the DR. So he could go in and have his crybaby fit about his cards that Lamar ripped up. Cynthia and Carson are seen having a conversation a little bit later, and Cynthia said, I had a revelation this morning. And Carson said, I did too. Let's see if we had both had the same revelation. And Cynthia's like, he's not going to put me up. He's going to put you and Lamar up. So if I win the power of veto, I can take you down, and we're both safe. And then he has to put up Todrick or Misha. Like, yeah, you're finally playing the game. Really? Oh, yes, think about this. I wish you'd have thought about this 3 days ago. But they had the revelation that if Cynthia wins, they can keep them both safe. So kudos to them that they're actually thinking right now. Then they start talking about Teddy. And Cynthia says, I can't wait to get out of here and meet up with Teddy. And Carson said, yeah, we don't even have to watch it. We just have to meet up with her. She'll fill us in on all the tea and everything that went down. She'll tell us what we need to know. And Cynthia said, yeah, she will. She'll be oh so happy to tell us what went down. And Carson said, all right, but that's a plan. As soon as we get out of here, the three of us are having lunch. Would so love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. Todrick is seen later telling Misha that he missed her because he went and laid down to take a nap. That he missed her, but that he was having a meltdown because Lamar ripped up his cards. But that he was okay now. He was over it. Everything is so dramatic with him. There's nothing that's just middle of the ground. Todrick starts telling everybody that he thinks that Friday is going to be a double eviction. And it may very well be, because there's still 6 of them in there, and we've only got 9 days left. So we'll see. If there is a double eviction on Friday, they'll probably announce it on Wednesday night, I would think, to us. So I'll be watching out for that. Lamar, Todrick, and Misha are in the HOH room talking, and Lamar says that he's really enjoyed playing the game with them, and that he hopes to see them on the outside, and then he hopes that they'll be friends for life, and that he needs to get in touch with everybody once they get out. And somebody said something, and Lamar said, well, production can give us their numbers. And Todrick said, production's not just going to give us people's numbers unless they say that it's okay. And he goes, but you might want to get Shayna's number so you can text her. And then Todd pops up out of bed. He's laying on HOH bed. He pops up out of bed and says, oh, you mean strawberry shortcake? And he gets out of bed and he says, yeah, we were joking about it, that her man was going to be so pissed off when he got out of here. And Lamar's like, yeah, he's going to be like, who the hell is that calling you strawberry shortcake? And Misha chimes in, and she let you call her that? Yeah, if I were her man, I'd be mad. This is rich. Coming from the woman that wears a t-shirt around the house all the time that says Cupcake Tate. She's promoting her own self every time she wears it, and I've seen her in it every other day. So you're mad because somebody called her strawberry shortcake, but your nickname is Misha Cupcake Tate. That's real rich. And then Todrick says, do you think that she's actually going to come around and then she's going to apologize to me and that she's going to be like, oh, it was just a game? Or do you think that she's just going to be so ridiculous and petty and like start trouble? Do you think she'll hold a grudge forever? And Misha says yes, because that's the type of person that she is. And Misha said she's already proved that she's not capable of living in the real world. Where in the hell does she think she's been living? That's ridiculous. Todrick goes on to say, well, you would think as old as she is and the fact that she has kids, she would look back and see how I always had her back and she would apologize to me. She would see how sweet I talked about her in the DRs all the time. And then I always complimented her outfits. I'm beginning to think that this man is actually delusional. He has got to be one hell of a con artist. If he can say all of this shit with a straight face, never take a breath, just pops off the top of his head. He doesn't even have to think about it. Allegedly. Then he says that he has those type of friends that if they saw him do something that was like not good, that they would be like, Todrick, that's not right. Now you need to go apologize. That they would still love me, but that they would tell me to go apologize and they would call me on my bullshit. And Misha said, yeah, but I doubt that she has those type of friends. You saw who she attracted in the house. That's the type of friends she has on the outside. They're probably just going to tell her that she was just playing the game and that she didn't do anything wrong. And then Todrick goes on to say, well, I bet she was surprised when she got out of the house and got online and saw how people on the internet were ripping her apart for how shady she was and telling her that she was wrong and low down and all of this. And I'm thinking, dude, somebody give this man a phone for 5 minutes, please. Literally, anybody. BB Production, give that man a phone for 5 minutes and let's see him have a meltdown. I'm sorry, I would pay to see that. Noms are as we expected. It's going to be Carson and Lamar. And I'm really hoping that Lamar doesn't go home. He is the only bright light in that house at this moment. I still love Cynthia. I still love Carson. I hate the way they played the game. And I hate watching them get bamboozled by Todrick and Misha. But I'm really hoping Lamar doesn't go home. But the way this season's going, that's probably most likely what's going to happen. We shall see. Tell me what you think in the comments. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you for watching and supporting me. And as always, much love.